Let's see if we can get us up here. There we go. There we are. There we are. Now you can come up. There's the Casperator. Good morning. It's 8:28. We are rolling. Coffee with Casper is coming up in 1.5 minutes. We're glad to see you this morning. Remember, we're broadcasting live on YouTube and Facebook. Coffee and Casper. Coffee's glad to see you this morning. Let me know where you are if you're watching on Facebook. Well, from Boise. 2 of you from Boise. Hi, guys. Good morning from Hollywood. And aloha from Eureka, California. Glad to see you all this morning. Good morning, good morning. Here we're getting ready to roll with Coffee with Casper. There's the mountain dog over here. Casper already came up. There's the big doggies. And here we go. It looks like we're running smoothly this morning. Good morning. Let me know where you're at. We can see you this morning. We got 1.5 minutes to go before we get started. We're running right on. Well, actually, we've got about 1 minute to go. There we go. So we're standing by with the gongs. Hello, beloveds, from wherever you are. Welcome to Coffee with Casper. We're glad you're here. Tell your friends about it. Share the video. You coming back up, big boy? You coming back up? There's the Casper. He says, I want to be part of the party. I want to be part of the party. Oh, good morning. You can just leave him right there for now. You can grab these, though, if you want. All righty. We are just very nice. Thank you for sharing the video wherever you are. Thank you, Robin. We're glad you're here this morning. The Arrowhead Man is here delivering fresh water. Isn't that a good thing? All righty. And here we go. We'll just let him finish his task. That's a Tuesday thing. All righty. All righty, my friends, from wherever you are. Good morning from Arizona. Good morning from Las Vegas. Very good. Glad to see you all this morning. All right, everybody get ready. Let's take a deep breath in. Let that breath rise up into your heart center. And then just give yourself permission to relax. We're just giving ourselves this 20 minutes to open our mind, to open our heart, and to remember that I am that. I am. I am that I am. I am that which is the I am in and through and as all creation. I am an immortal spiritual being, superior to my mind, to my body, and to my experience. So we're glad you're here this morning. We're glad you're remembering. Today we're going to talk about a couple of things. One, I think, which is we have spoken about, obviously, in this time of transition here in the United States, the challenge of this COVID-19 and the amount of families that it has affected, the amount of lives that it has touched, it is demanding of us that we draw on compassion. Compassion, the Buddha said, is a quality that human beings are capable of infinite compassion. And what that means is that we're able to care. We're able to step past our personal pain and separateness and care. Care about the unity of all life. Care, therefore, about the one life. Therefore, care for everything that is in the one life. And this capacity we have to stretch that compassion, what we have, under the veil of separation, we have turned our head to that which we don't want to look at because it hurts to look at it. Yet it is only by working our way through it that we can use the gifts of infinite compassion to create what we want in our worlds. And that is to bring forth the understanding. What you and I know as light workers around the world is that everything is interrelated and interconnected. There is no such thing as a disconnected anything. And the principle behind all of it is a perfect intelligence. We see, for example, in the internet and now the storage of the vast amount of human knowledge that has gone into the internet, like the globe's biggest library. That is the sum total of the mind of humanity. And Ernest Holmes, the great philosopher from the last century, he said if you took the sum total of the knowledge in the mind of humanity and compared it to the infinite intelligence of the One, you would be looking at a pinhead of knowledge. So humans are an evolving being, evolving in our understanding of our spiritual nature, evolving our understanding of our dual nature that we've talked about before, that we have both this high self and the personal self. The personal self, or the egoic self, which is the one that separates ourselves from the connection to all life. Some have said ego stands for edging God out. Right? It's the separation self. And it's the high self, this I am, that knows about unity conscious from the San Gabriel Mountains, from North Carolina. Good morning, good morning. Nice to see you this morning. Thanks for checking in. So we are now knowing that this divine intelligence that is the victory of humanity, is the victory of evolution and the awakening of consciousness in this dimension at a level higher than it's ever been before in the billions of years of evolution to get to this place. And now we're beginning to, you and I, those who are beginning to practice being in tune with the infinite, knowing that I am one with the One, knowing that I'm a co-creator with the One, and therefore knowing that what's passing through my consciousness, which means through my conscious awareness and through my words and through my actions, what's passing through my consciousness is co-creating my experience. And so the big shift that's happening in our day, first of all, we see here in this country an awakening or a turning back to a compassion as we're recognizing over 500,000 souls have made their transition through this virus and through the disease that comes from the virus. And this virus in another time might have been limited to certain continents. But now in a global world where everybody is traveling and everybody is communicating and everybody is moving from here, there, across the globe, as we have been prior to this last year and still are doing, the world is all connected, and we're beginning to see this giant connection. And so what we need to call into the web of human consciousness, as it were, is we need to call into the web of human consciousness, first of all, this compassion for each other and for one another and for a world that is struggling to wake up. We have to release the old things in order to claim the new things. So if we were to put that in the first person, is I have to release my egoic consciousness, my need to do it alone and to buck up and get in there, and begin to call into my life through compassion, through my awakened heart, call in this compassion, and then that higher level of consciousness which is coordinating all things. So let's put it this way. What the psalmist called the still small voice, what we who have been meditating and prayerful for many decades, because humanity's race consciousness, humanity's limited ideas, humanity's separation had become so thick that in order for us to be in touch with that inner voice, in order for us to follow its guidance, we had to tune out the outer world at least for 20 minutes a day, sometimes twice and 3 times a day, stopping the monkey mind so that I could enter into the feeling of unity consciousness, what it is to be one with the One. Now, in that level of consciousness, each one of us has a divine intention. We came from the light, we put on a coat of skins, we have a divine intention, that is to fulfill our life's purpose, and then we shall return to the light. And we shall, in having fulfilled our life purpose, return to the light alive, awake, aware, joyous, and enthusiastic about living, as opposed to afraid of dying, right? To actually know in this upward forward spiral, this thing that we call death is simply a passing from one stage of awareness to another stage of awareness, and it doesn't have to be done in ill health. It doesn't have to be done traumatically. We can mature, continue to work on our life purpose, and do it in love and in joy and in the all good of life. But we have to trust that my following my divine intuition and your following your divine intuition is going to harmonize in such a way that your being successful in your life purpose is supporting me in being successful in my life purpose, and vice versa. As I work on fulfilling the fullness of my own being, knowing that I'm a spiritual, mental, and physical being, that I have to align all of those things with my high self, and then my consciousness will expand. Now the thing is, as your my hands are doing this, as your consciousness expands, so does what looks like your authority in the world, what looks like your capacity to create from your intentions, to create from your conscious intentions, right? It looks like we get stronger in it, and we do, but it's not because we have personal power, it's because we have aligned ourselves with the power of the infinite, with that which is the infinite one, and therefore the source of all power. And then we are growing in consciousness, understanding that all power is actually love. The transcendent authority in life is actually love. As we've talked about, that's the impulsion of the universe. That's why it's here. So the more we work on being in tune, the more we work on following that which our new, louder, intuitive voice, this I am presence within us, is now clearly available, and the more we court it, the more we in tune ourselves with it, the more grace, the more harmony, the more peace, the more joy, the more synchronicity shows up in our lives. I mean, it's astounding that literally the way to assuage your fears, to get through the fears and past them, to calm them down, is to rise upstairs into a place where your fulfillment is bringing a blessing to all those who are in your experience. And it's not a selfish fulfillment, it's a separating myself from all that would be out of harmony and finding that place where I can be a place of peace, a place of consciousness, a place of love, a place of guidance, a place where you can use your wisdom, your spiritual authority to help other people. And clearly, as on this show, and again there's only one thing we ask you to do with this show, and that's to share it. If there's valuable information in these 20 minutes that you can find helpful to you, then share it with other people. Because we're basically, one by one, we're like Johnny Appleseeds. We're planting that seed of conscious awakening, of conscious divinity in our own consciousness and in the consciousness of those who are around us or touch the arena of our experience. And that's how we help lift the world. That's also how we lift up the antibodies in our own system. The more we unselfishly participate in the light, the more light comes to us, the more we can use that light, and there's no limit to that good. Good and more good is mine. Everywhere I go, I see this good. I feel it. It crowds itself against me, flows through me, and manifests itself around me. Wow, good and more good is mine. There's no limit to that good so long as our consciousness stays in the upstairs realms, meaning knowing that there's a unity of all life, knowing that my high self is guiding me to my highest good. An affirmation that has been in my experience for decades is I recognize, accept, and experience that which is for my highest good in development. I recognize, accept, and experience that which is for my highest good in development. Meaning, as I move through the day, as events unfold, as information is revealed to me, as opportunities come forward, as the phone rings, an email comes in, a message, text comes in, any one of these things could be an opportunity for you to follow it to the next great opportunity, because you're paying attention to that which your high self is bringing you, which is always leading you to your highest and best opportunity. Is that making sense? So when we begin to intune, it's kind of like Hansel and Gretel and the breadcrumbs in the forest. Those little crumbs, those little guidance, those little intuitions, those little hunches, those little I think I felt, or I thought I said, or I think I should do, right? We follow them and we see where they want to go. I could tell you in the first person, we have now done, I don't know, a lot of these episodes of Coffee with Casper, and it requires that I pay attention to my high self, that I listen to what it's trying to tell me, and that I may then know that the I am consciousness that I am is the same I am consciousness that you are, and therefore I am capable of finding out how to help you, because I'm helping me through the I am consciousness, right? And then my next question is, well, after so many episodes and so much discipline required in bringing these to you every week, where does it want to go? And I don't know the answer to that question, but I check in with my intuition, and it says, just keep making coffee with Casper. Can you not read the newspapers and see into the news and listen to what's happening in the world and know that I am presence needs support, that it needs to wake up not just in me and not just in us, the light workers, but in all people. So we toss out ideas. We live from a consciousness of high love. We open our heart. We allow the chakras in our energy systems to be in tune. And then we share that peace, that poise, that balance, which is not coming from an egoistic place. It's coming from the high self. It's coming from the gift of life to itself, which is the I am, which is you and me. It has already given itself to itself in its entirety. So we need to receive it and then work with it by, number one, realizing that I can care in the world. And even though I may not have solutions and I may not know what to bring forth to solve every issue, I can care. And my caring makes a difference. And if I care and I'm wanting to know how to support in a greater way, then I can ask, how can I support the world awakening? How can I help people step away from fear and into health? How can I help people to follow their intuition, which will strengthen their immune system on the pathway to your vaccines and to using the mind of humans, which is also the intelligence of God. It's everywhere. The intelligence of God is in us and around us and through us, and it's not the only intelligence. It's the higher intelligence, not just the knowledge of human beings, not just reading, writing, and arithmetic, but that which is this interdimensional awareness, this capacity we have to tune into the one and then allow that one to move in, through, and as us, and then we begin to awaken to the fact that, oh, this is not just speculation that I'm a spiritual being connected to the divine, that life responds to me by corresponding to me. I can begin to witness life responding to me by corresponding to me. I can begin to accept that there's a greater good happening to me and through me and around me, even if I don't speak the same language as you do. Now, I have noticed in my travels around the world that people respond to me with smiles and joy, just as I respond to them with smiles and joy, regardless of cultures or colors or ways of being or what country I'm in or what language we're speaking. There is a universal humanness that we are all capable of communicating with. And the more we practice communicating with that, which is what we would call telepathic, the more we open to our capacities to communicate with more than just words and more than just our head, the more we open to sharing that kind of energy, the more we help uplift. The more we help uplift others, the more we become uplifted. The way through this now is through this collective compassion, knowing that we can't run out, knowing that we are all on a mission and that we can all tune into that mission, and everybody's divine assignment is different. It's not the same. We each came to do our part in a world awakening, our part in our self-awakening, and the rest is the transformation that the divine itself, whether the laws of nature itself or the laws of spirit itself, work in us. As I always say, we don't do transformation. Transformation is done unto us, but we can set ourselves up through our prayers and meditation, through our attitudes, to expect this transformation, to expect it to be done unto us, to expect a greater good to unfold in our lives. So that's what we're doing. Stretching ourselves in compassion, and I recognize, accept, and experience that which is for my highest good and development. Open your mind, open your heart this week. Recognize, accept, experience, and follow that which is for your highest good and development. Greater good is yours than you have ever imagined. A greater sense of belonging, a greater sense of peace, a greater sense of life, a greater sense of health, a greater sense of youthful exuberance. All of it is yours. So I thank you for sharing these 20 minutes with me. Share them wherever you can. Put them in your heart and begin to feel this transformation being done unto you. This loving, glorious, ascending, rising transformation is being done unto you because you are cooperating with it. I recognize, accept, and experience that which is for my highest good and development. Until we meet again, I invite you to go in the light, as the light and with the light. May the long-time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide you on your way. We'll see you next week on Coffee with Casper.